For this NFL free agent profile, we're going to take a look at Miami Dolphins free safety Jevon Holland. Jevon Holland is a guy that came into the league, a lot of hype, former second round pick, 36 overall in the 2021 draft, represented by Athletes First, Dave Mulgeta. Jevon Holland, he started off his career putting up some really, really impressive stats according to PFF. His first 3 seasons in the NFL, mainly his second and third, he really put up some outstanding numbers. Kind of dipped back this past year. Um, some people say it was because of the defensive coordinator change. Obviously, 2023, widely respected defensive coordinator Vic Fangio was their defensive coordinator. This year was Anthony Weaver, first-time defensive coordinator in the National Football League. So the Miami Dolphins defense regressed just a tad bit under him. Javon Holland had an overall PFF grade of 63 that ranked him 89th out of 170 safeties in the league's pass coverage grade, dipped to 57.1, 109 out of 170 eligible safeties. His run defense was 39th out of 170. So we saw that number, it was pretty good, pretty good sample size what we saw from him. His 2023 numbers were just absolutely outstanding. 90.4, third amongst 174 eligible safeties. Pass coverage grade, 89.9. That's a 90 for me. Third out of 174 eligible safeties. Run defense, fourth out of 174 at an 82.5. Listen, he put up some really good numbers in 2023 under Vic Fangio as defense coordinator. And I think that anytime you switch a defensive coordinator up, you're going to have some players that are going to regress, some players that are going to take a step back. Some players are even going to shine in some instances. This certainly seemed like to be a situation that they didn't work out the best for Javon Holland. But don't fret. I think that the player that we saw Javon Holland be the last 2 years is who he actually is in year 2 and 3. I think that's who he actually is. And I think that a team out there that makes Javon Holland a priority in free agency is going to probably getting a pretty damn good player. Now, that brings me to the Bengals situation and why I'm even talking about it. The Bengals had some poor issues amongst their secondary this past year, and it was they left a lot to be desired, to be completely honest with you. Their starting free safety and Geno Stone posed a grade 53.7, 77th amongst 97 eligible safeties. That was his grade this year. His run defensive grade was poor at a 45.5. Geno Stone just did not, put it all together until later in the season. He left a lot to be desired out there, albeit he did come on strong towards the end of the season. But you can't, ignore the lack of athleticism. It seems like if Geno didn't make a split-second decision right then and there, he sort of paid for it. If the quarterback was able to catch him out of position quite often. And the thing about Geno Stone, he's a very smart guy. He knows where to be, right? It's just sometimes about getting there, right? Because the athleticism is an issue to a degree, so it didn't work in his favor. But Javon Holland is a guy that meets all the measurables. And to be honest with you, if the Bengals were to move off of a guy like Geno Stone, they actually have an out. It would only be dead cap, $1.5 million. So they have the ability to move on from a guy like Geno Stone. The question is, are they going to be able to afford a guy, right, like Javon Holland? Javon Holland is expected to cash in big this free agency, right? He's projected to get a contract of $19.5 million per year, right? That'll bring him close to $98 million, close to $100 million for over 4 years. You look at it, probably $57.5 million guaranteed. That's what he's projected right now. Will he even meet the Bengals price range, right? We know who his agent is. We know who he's represented by. We know that he's going to be looking to cash in big. But Javon Holland is a guy that I think has a lot of untapped potential. Javon Holland's only 24 years old, probably be 25 when the season starts. He's a guy that I think has a lot to offer a football team. I think that this is a guy that whoever does land, and much like how I felt about Jesse Bates, right? Jesse Bates didn't have the greatest year his last season in Cincinnati, but he made up for it, obviously, in his first year in Atlanta. He showed why he was deserving of that big contract. Javon Holland is a guy to me that checks all the boxes. He meets all the measurables. He's been played all around the defense, inside the box, in slot, playing that free safety position. Only has 5 interceptions in his career, but that's all right. The guy's usually in the right place at the right time. He makes the big-time plays that you're looking for him to make. And I think Javon Holland, his best football days are ahead of him. And we'll just see where he lands. Let me know what you guys think. Where do you guys want to see Javon Holland land? Do you think he makes sense for the Cincinnati Bengals? If you like more video content like this, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you guys don't miss when we go live or upload content from the TWSN studios.